responsible for running children's programs through churches, through the schools. He was part of the Kids Hope. I think he started the Kids Hope program in the Mona Shore schools, and that entire program, because of this, had to be completely shut down. So all those kids are affected, as well as his own family and his own children and community. So although I think sometimes people, we don't have a victim here speaking, I think that there are many people that are affected by this behavior. And I just asked the court, there's no Cobb's agreement in this case. I know the court has thoroughly reviewed all of the documents here, and I just asked the court to craft a fair and just sentence.
Thank you. And Mr. West.
Your Honor, the reason why we wanted to have this insert put in is that it puts his unhealthy interest in pornography into a context that I think is important, because they do give examples in the pre-sentence report that come from the original investigation where they identify child sexually abusive material. They identify it as coming from my client's IP address, and that's all true. He had an unhealthy interest, and he used BitTorrent, which is a nightmare. It's a Pandora's box. If you have an unhealthy relationship with pornography, the best way to ensure that you're going to have a lot of problems is if you use BitTorrent to access it. And I can tell the court that based on Detective Nair's close look at all of the evidence, my client was principally interested in pubescent, and his search history, his save history, all related to 16-year-old or thereabouts age, not prepubescent children. So an interest in adult form, and obviously illegal. But unfortunately, he opened up Pandora's box, and here he is. I can tell the court, based on many of the letters that I believe the court has read, my client receives all kinds of support from both the community, from the church, from his employer's son, with whom he worked around for many, many years as a young boy and then into adulthood. And I can tell the court that he is highly remorseful for his behavior. He's embarrassed about it, although since this came out, he has been very proactive in getting treatment. He went and had an assessment done by Ron Gruters, and Ron Gruters finds him to be someone highly unlikely of repeating criminal conduct or to act out in any way. And in fact, this secret obsession was never something that he acted out on. I recognize that there are victims. It's a market, and supporting that market perpetuates that market. I fully understand that, and I don't disagree with that argument in any way, but I think it's also important to consider that there is no evidence, and there was never a time when he exposed anybody else to this secret. He suffered it alone. He suffered it late at night in private. Frankly, he's made apology to many people very openly. In fact, went to his reverend and to many people in his church community and people with whom he's served, and given back quite a lot to others. And they had no idea. And frankly, many, many months after this comes out, they're aware that no one was ever exposed to this in any way. And I think that's an important factor. My client's treatment has been significant. Beginning in April of last year, he began a weekly counseling session with a qualified person dealing with this kind of activity, with pornography. And he has continued to treat and see that counselor every week ever since then. So he'd be going on, I'd say it was about 10 months now and counting. In addition, he would attend a weekly support group called New Hope for Sexual Integrity. And he's been attending that group weekly since April 15th. And there was a letter included from Christian Hayden, who is one of the group leaders there, who talked about the tremendous growth in Dan, his efforts toward recovery and his successes in recovery and his openness. And Hayden, interestingly, described him as a blessing to the group. In addition to that, my client also was doing a weekly session at Celebrate Recovery which is a 12-step group in Muskegon through Port City Church. And you had a letter from Haynes, which is the group leader there. He's been working very, very hard. The likelihood that he repeats this behavior is quite low, given his assessment and given his efforts and given the community support and the support of his loved ones. He's motivated and they're motivated. I don't know what the right answer is. I wouldn't want to have to make that decision, and I know it's difficult. I would think that given his efforts and given his assessment and given the fact pattern of this case, he's somewhat different than a lot of the other people that are charged with this sort of crime. So if you're looking at like offenders with like backgrounds, he sort of stands out as somebody who put in great effort and has great support, and so therefore is likely to succeed. I'd love to see him treated, put on electronic tether, allow him a delayed sentence so that he could continue on this path and continue to bolster his recovery, so that the court could make a decision at a later date with more information in front of the court. The community would be protected, and he would be able to continue on that recovery. He is not somebody who's going to repeat this sort of behavior. Or alternatively, a jail sentence or a prison sentence, if that's what the court elects, a prison sentence that sentences to 1 year to 10 years, so that the parole board can make an appropriate decision when they think he's ready for release into the community. But I can tell the court that he's made great effort. He will continue to make great effort, whatever your sentence is. He appears today with his family here, including his children. They are very tearful. They all know that this is very serious. They're very sad. My client is sad that they even have to be part of that. But he's doing everything he can. I mean, you open Pandora's box, you have to make adjustments. He's been doing that. He's worked hard at it, and he will continue to work at it. We do very much appreciate you listening. We appreciate you reading the letters. And I'm hopeful that Dan goes forward in a positive way, whatever may come today.
Thank you. Anything you'd like to say before sentencing?
I'm just very sorry for all that I put everybody through in my community.
Thank you. I read through the pre-sentence report in this case, and we also added this letter that the addition that I had just went through. Several letters of support on what a wonderful man he is, what he's done. Welcome him back with open arms in the community. My 9-year-old son is upset, and that he's out of the community at this time, and support letters. I mean, you've got all the support from the community here on being here for you, supporting you. Now, what I do is I look over here, and I'm waiting for a victim to speak. Wait a minute, let me check. Let me check to see. Offense variables is none. None. We have no victims. According to the pre-sentence report, we have no victims. We have no victims out here. Well, this is child sexually abusive material. I look at the letter that was added, and it says that near further determines that these pubescent images were the only ones that was saved. And I emphasize on saved. 16-year-olds, not adults, 16, but they were the only ones saved. But downloaded, let's check out what was downloaded. What did you download to look at? maybe not save. We have, a 6 to 8-year-old naked on the bed with her legs spread and some adult rubbing lotion. Not good enough. Here we go. A 4-year-old naked on the bed with her legs spread, rubbing lotion, touching herself in her vagina. Then we go a little bit further. We got a little touching. Then we go a little bit further. We got an 8 to 10-year-old who is being sexually assaulted by an adult male inside her vagina while being videotaped. All right, we're not done. 12 to 14-year-old, aged naked, who is being digitally penetrated in her vagina with unknown types of objects. Well, off screen, you see a male masturbating with an erect penis until he ejaculates. These are the images you were watching, maybe not downloading, but you were watching them. You, as the community member, have taken this community and taken children and taught children who you're looking at masturbating, playing with themselves, 6, 8. I look at these letters and I hear your attorney say, nobody ever knew. Nobody knew. They wouldn't believe this. Well, now the community should know. And are they there to support you? They support that you can come into my home with my 9-year-old when you're watching 9-year-olds sexually being abused. I'm thinking I'd step back a little bit before I welcomed you to dinner. There is no victim. Well, these children who are sexually trafficked and abused and molested and put in all kinds of situations, where are these? Oh, they're on your computer. And the only reason why we have them is because we have child molesters who aren't, according to your attorney, not actually active on it, but watching it. That's why we have this stuff, because you are there watching it. And you can't tell me that this was a mistake. There was a whole lot more than one. The guidelines in this case are 24 to 40. Are they proportionate? No, they're not proportionate. They're not reasonable and proportionate because they take into consideration absolutely no victims. Are there victims in this case? Absolutely. And if we look to see, against a person, if we have psychological injury to a victim, yeah, I'm sure these kids had it. And did you do it? Well, you watched it. And if you weren't watching it, would it have been done to them? Aggravated, let's see, number of victims. 10 or more. 25 points. So if you're looking at the victims, that they say that this is a victimless crime, we're way over what you should be getting in this case. 24 to 40. I don't find that the sentencing guidelines are reasonable and proportionate in this case. Therefore, it is the sentence of the court. You serve 48 months to 10 years on charge 1 and charge 2 at the Michigan Department of Corrections with 5 days credit. $68 state charge, $130 crime victim fund, $450 court cost. There's also a registration, SORA registration. Mr. Kenny, is that a lifetime monitoring or just a SORA registration?
Just a SORA registration, Your Honor.
Thank you.
That's correct, Your Honor.
So there is a SORA registration. Probation, did I miss anything?
No, you did not, Your Honor.
Anything further, Ms. Norton?
Nothing further.
Anything further?
No, thank you, Your Honor.
You have the right to file an application for leave to appeal your conviction and sentence. If you are financially unable to afford an attorney, one would be appointed for you at public expense. You have 42 days from today's date to appeal. We're off the record.
Oh, Judge, can we go back on, or Jeff, do you want to do a stipulation on the destruction of the evidence?
Sure.
Or do you want to go on?
No, we'll go back on the
Okay.
record.
Is there something you're doing?
And you got an additional
Okay. Are we ready? In regards to the evidence that was seized in this case, there were several electronics, computers, tablets, things like that. The detective has indicated that there were 2 external hard drives that were seized that just have family pictures on them and have no any type of CCM or any sort of evidence. We're fine with returning those. We just asked the court to order that everything else be destroyed.
Everything else in this case will be destroyed and not returned after the appeal purposes.
Yes, thank you, Judge.
Thank you.
Ms. Norton, what other cases you have?
Mall and Lavandado.